Kadosh, Boker Or. Masechet Kiddushin Daf Amud Aleph.
Second page of the day.
Yeah, this week. Yeah, we're talking about 18a1. Yeah, it says like this. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Baravin Amar Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Baravin and Rabbi Yochanan, Oved Kochavim Yoresh et Aviv Dvar Torah. Mina Torah. A goy inherits his father. Tichtiv ki Yerusha le'esav natati tarsid. I give Yerusha to Esav. What? I give him Tarsid. What does it mean? There's Yerusha. Ask the Gemara, V'dilma Yisamu Marshari. He was a Yisrael at the end of the day. Esav was a Yisrael. It's true, he's a Yisrael Mumar, which means that he's not religious. He's an anti, whatever you want to call him. But it's a Yisrael. Answers the Gemara, Elmaleh, you're right. Ki livne Lot natati tar Yerusha. Right? I gave to the children of Lot ad Yerusha, so I gave him a Yerusha. So why did Rabbi Baravin say this? Why does he come and he starts saying that Mina Torah, he does get it, it's the Mina Torah, V'chishavim koneu, mashma that there's Yerushim. Just say here, livne Lot natati tar Yerusha. So he says, Matam lo karava, umichtiv is written v'chishavim koneu v'lo im yorsheh koneu. It's all written like that. Rava Maitama, so he says, that's what he says. He just doesn't like the concept of v'chishavim koneu v'lo im yorsheh koneu. Chishavim koneu, that's it. The Rava and according to Rava, what does it say like Rabbi Baravin? Mishum kivodo de Avraham shani. It says Lot was the nephew of Avraham Avinu, and since he was the nephew of Avraham Avinu, it could be that the Torah was mizaket to Lot the land, right? Only just because of zechut of Avraham, but not because be'emet a goy inherits to his child. So Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Yesh b'ivri she'en b'ivriya. Yesh b'ivriya she'en b'ivriya. There are certain halachot that apply to an eved ivri and not to an Amar Ivriya. Certain halachot that apply to Amar Ivriya and not to an Eved Ivri. Yes, Ivri, there's a Ivri that he who said Beshanim, Uvi Yovel Mitat Adon, he goes out, whether it's going to be in the 6 years, and Yovel, and the death of the master. Mashenken Amar Ivriya. Amar Ivriya that's not like that, right? What does that mean? It's not like that. He comes and he says, we're going to have to actually say, what does that mean? Obviously, she does go out in these things, so why not? The Yesh Ivriya, there's some things in the Ivriya, she goes out with the simanim, with puberty, and she cannot be sold again, right, a second time around to go out again, basically, right, even if she's still a ketana, meaning, right, the father cannot sell her twice, only once. Okay, umefadin oto, right, umavdin oto, sorry, bal kulcho, mashe'en ken be'eved ivri, but mashe'en ken on the eved ivri. So, what? Yeah, he could sell himself 20 times. Amar more says, yesh b'ivri shem ivriya. One second, how can you tell me now that she doesn't go out with Meitata Adon or Shanim or Yovel? I thought that you say that you do, right? So basically, right, like this. So he says, Amar Mor, right? He comes and he says, Yesh Bivri Yeshem Ivriya. Meaning we have a contradiction. Yetera alav amah ivriya shekonat simanim. He says that it's extra that she is going to acquire herself simanim. When you say extra, meaning she has the previous ones. She also goes out at 6 years. She goes out at Yovel. She goes out Meitata Adon. Yetera, the extra she has is the simanim, but it's something extra. Okay, so he comes and he says, Amar Rav Sheshat, or meaning says Yetera lav amivriya shekonat simanim. Amar Rav Sheshat kigon sheyada. Says no, who mikadesh ota. So therefore, since right now the master or the son did the kiddushin, she does not go out after 6 years or in Yovel or all those things, right? Why? Because that's it. Once he got married to her, it's a marriage. So says the Gemara, Yada, Pshita, obviously, Gita Baya, she needs a get. If he did Yud means a designation, and now she's going to become married to him, she needs a get. So Ma'odatema, I would have thought to say, Lo libatla ilchata mina, that still she still has the same halacha that she should go out after the 6 years or Yovel without a get. Kamashmaran comes to teach you that after the Yehud, she does not go out at all. Meaning, what do? They come and they get married to her, Kamarnu, that's it. Says the Gemara, so why does she go with simanim then? So says Gemara, this is what it say. Im lo yada, if they did not do the yutur, then yotzea even with simanim. Right? But if not, right, they're not. Ve'ena nimkeret v'nishnet. She's not going to be nimkeret, sold, and nishnet a second time around. So he comes and he says, what does that mean exactly? He says, miklal, from here we learned Eved Ivri nimkar v'nishna, that an Eved Ivri is going to be sold, right? And it could be sold a second time around. Tanya, I thought we learned in a Braita, bignevato. What does it mean, bignevato? Bignevato v'lo bikfelo, which means he's going to be sold for his geneva and not for the kefil. Meaning, if he has money to pay the keren, but no money to pay the kefil, he's not going to be, right? So he's not going to be sold. One more time. Why is an Eved Ivri sold? because he stole and he didn't have money. What happens? What is the punishment for stealing? You have to pay back double, right? And if you admit to it first, so you only have to pay back the keren, the principal. You don't have to pay back double. What happens here if you have the money to pay back double? You have to pay back the regular, but you don't have money to pay back the double.
You become slave.
What? You have the money to pay back the principal, but not the double. You don't become a slave. You're not sold. As it says, bignevato velo bikfelato, meaning you're only sold for your gneva. You're not sold to pay back your kefir. You're not sold. Yeah, bignevato velo bizmamo.
If you pay back the principal, you're out.
You're out. What does that mean? You still owe the money, but you're not sold as a slave. Okay, in order to pay back. Okay, you're not. One more time, right? A person comes and he steals. How much does he have to pay back? He pays back keren plus double. That's if he got caught. If he gives himself in, he only pays back the principal.
Okay.
Only the keren. Says the Gemara. What happens right now? He went, he stole, he got caught. He has to pay back double.
Right.
He has enough to pay back the principal,
It.
but not the double. As long as he pays back the principal, he's not sold as an Nevanivri. Why? Because it says bignevato velo bikfelo. He's sold. Venimkar bignevato. He's sold for his debt. For his debt of what? Of stealing. He still owes the money. He owes the money, but he doesn't get sold. The same thing bignevato velo bizmamo. If he's an edzomem, right? If he's an edzomem, so also the same thing. He will come and he'll have to pay it back, but he does not, right? He does not be sold for the edzomem. Right, which means that if he testified that somebody stole and then afterwards he became an edzomem, he's not sold. Right? Once he's sold once, you can't sell him again. So here it's mashma that you can't sell again. We said that an ama'ivriya could only be sold once. Mashma that an eved can be sold multiple times. Here you see, kevin sheninkar pamachat shuvi atar rashay lemuchro. So Amar Rava says like a question: Kam b'gneva achat, kam b'shtei gnevot. It all depends if it's one gneva or two gnevot. If it's going to be gneva achat, so you cannot sell him more than once, right? That means even if he was only sold for half of the value of the debt of what he stole, you can't sell him again. But if it's two different stealings, it's a different count. Meaning like this: he stole $10,000. You're going to sell him. Shemitah's in 3 years. He's only going to get 5,000. You can't sell him twice. But he's going to say, yeah, but he owes me 10. I apologize. You're lost. You could only be sold once. But if he stole twice, they're different counts. And once they're different counts, you could be sold twice. Capish?
So you have to prove that he stole. So you're going to do it a second time after the Shemitah.
Yes, exactly. Elmaleh comes and he says, V'nimka bignevato tuva mashma. When it says bignevato, it's mashma, right? Tuva. What does it mean tuva? Tuva means, right, even many gnevot, which means even a lot of them. So we're going to come and we're going to say when it says v'nimkar b'gnevato, even on kama gnevot, it's the same thing. Yeah, and not like you that you could just continue selling him. No, it's only one, right? So he says, Ella amar Rabbi rather Rabbi. It says like a question. It's not how many times did you steal, how many people did you steal from? Meaning, if you stole from one person, you stole from multiple people. Some people come, they steal from one person. So that one person, you could only be sold once. But if it's from multiple people, according to the people, you could be sold. Tanu Rabbi learned in a Braita, Genevo.
If you sold once from one guy, you might as well steal from him again.
Can I just ask you one question?
Right, 1 minute. No, 1 minute.
No, but
yeah. So says the Gemara, Elmaleh comes and he says, Bignevato tuva mashma. Fine. So he comes and he says, it depends how many people. Tanu Rabbi learned in a Braita, Genevo 1,000. What happens if he stole 1,000 and he's only worth 500? So he is sold twice, right? But if he sold 500 and he's worth 1,000, he's not sold at all. Rabbi Eliezer says, if it's the same in value, he's sold. And if not, he's not sold. So Amar Rava comes and he says, right? 1 second. This machloket, Rabbi Eliezer is going to win Rabbanan. So Rabbi Eliezer are correct. Why? Rabbi Eliezer, they come and they ask the following question. Why is it that if he's going to steal 500, but he's worth 1,000, he's not sold? Because it says nimkar, you have to sell his full value, and he's going to have change. He can't have change. And the other way around is also as well. Right? So to the other way around. So because of that, right, we actually paskin, right, like Rabbi Eliezer, right? That is, it's like Rabbi Eliezer, not like that means basically, yeah, he's going to be sold, and if not, he's not going to be sold at all. Okay, fine. Next, you could come and you could redeem the Amai Ivriya against his will. Savar came and he thought to say Balkulchet de Adon, against the will of the Adon. Amar Rabbi says, "My nihu." What does that mean exactly? The katvale shtar adme. He wrote a shtar on the money, which means that what happens if he doesn't have enough money to redeem her now? He could force him to go out, and he'll pay afterwards when he gets the money. Amai why? Nakit, right? He comes and he says, right? He comes and he says, Amai nakit. Why is it that it's going to be in such a case, right? In the Amai why? Natki marganita biyadeh. He's got a marganita. He's got like a margalit, right, in his hands. So he comes and he says, well, you're not going to give her the cheres, which means at the end of the day, right, a shtar chov is not worth nothing in itself. It's only a yitchayvu to pay later on. It's like a debt document. What's a debt document worth? Nothing. You're only going to pay later on. And Amar Rabbi, but rather Rabbi comes and he says, Bal kulche de av. It's Bal kulche of the father. Mishum pagam mishpacha. Meaning, right, because the pagam mishpacha, which means if the father has the money, we force him to redeem her because it's a bizayon that the daughter is a slave. So we force, that means if the father has the money, we force him to redeem his daughter. Because how can you leave your daughter like that? A slave, what's going on over here? Right? So says the Gemara, also. We should also force the family to pay him off. And says the Gemara, you're right. He sold himself again. When he sold himself again, why are they going to redeem him again? He did the same mistake twice. You don't, how many times can you call wolf? Yeah? So says the Gemara, fine. So also, what happens if he sold her again? You can't sell her again. Meaning, the Amai Ivriya is different because you can never sell her twice. So therefore, once you redeem her once, that's it. It doesn't exist anymore. So you can't sell her again. So that's why there's no problem. In the case of Ivri, he could sell himself again. Okay? It says she cannot be sold a second time. Money, who is this exactly? Says the Gemara, Rabbi Shimoni. Right? The Tanya learned in a right, a person could actually sell himself, his daughter, to get married, and he could do it twice also. The shvachot, also for shvachot. The yishut achar shivchut, right? Also for yishut after shvchut, avlo shvchut but not shivchut after yishut. The Shimon Omer, Keshem Shadam Mocher Bitol Shivchut achar yishut, so too he cannot sell his daughter the shivchut achar shivchut. Which means according to Rabbi Shimon, he's the Tana that holds that an Amai Ivriya cannot be sold a second time around, but there is a Tana that holds that she could be sold a second time around. We plukta dan in Tanai, and this is the machlok in these Tanaim. The Tanaim is going to the Braita. Bevigdo ba. What does that mean that you're not allowed to sell her to somebody else because he's like rebelling against her? Yudchet Amubet 18b. He says, Kevan Shapiresh, right? Talito alea. Once he put his talit on top of her to do kiddushin, Shuven Rashal, he cannot sell her again. These are the words of Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Lazar or Rabbi Eliezer says, Bevigdo ba. Kevan Shabagad ba. Once he went and he sold her, Shuven Rashal, he can't sell her again. That's what it means. Kevan Shabagad ba. Shuven Rashai lemochra. What is the machlok between them? Rabbi Eliezer comes and he says, Yesh em lamasoret. What does that mean? There's Yesh em lamasoret means that it depends on the words. So since it says bevigdo without the yod, it's like bogdo, it's like begida, it's like rebellious. Rabbi Kiva savar Yesh em lamikat, it goes the way that you read it. So since you read it bevigdo, it's like a beged. Okay, but you say bevigdo. But Rabbi Shimon holds Yesh em lamikat v'gam lamasoret. Both of them are ikarim. And therefore we come and we're going to take the teva of the word and we're going to go according to the way that it's read and according to the way that it's written. And therefore that's why he's coming to say that after you already put your talit for marriage, the father cannot sell her again. And he also says Mesoret, that also begida, which means that after the father already rebelled against her and therefore he sold her as a shivcha, he cannot sell her again as another shivcha. So that's why you're learning it from both. Right? That means basically there's a concept that is like 2 for 1. It's two things that you're learning, the way that it's written and the way that it's said, read also as well. Well, yeah, beged is the talit. Okay? By Rabbi Baravua. So Rabbi Baravua comes and he asks, Yud, right? When you say Yud, remember, Yud means you come and you designate her to become married to you. Nisuin or does it make Nisuin or Erusin? So nafkamina Yorsha, remember, what's a nafkamina? Only after Nisuin does the person inherit his wife. Only after Nisuin does a Kohen become Tameh if she dies. And only after Nisuin does the husband do Afarat Nedarim, but not Irusin? So we want to find out what's halacha. So he does Yud. Does that Yud make Irusin or Nisuin? So my what's halacha? Tashma wanted to bring a proof. Once he puts a talit on her, he's not allowed to sell her again. Sabuna, you're not allowed to sell her. You could do Yud, which means you could do a Kiddushin from somebody else. So he says, Via Marta, never going to tell me Nisuin, it makes Nisuin. Kevin, once she gets married, the father can, that's it, she's gone. But rather it comes to teach you Irusin, so it makes her into a Arusa. So Amr of Nachman ben Yitzchak, Seven Nachman ben Yitzchak, Hacha b'Kiddushin de Almakai. Here we're talking about regular Kiddushin. Ve'hachi kamar, this is what we say. Kevin shemasru avia, once the father gave her over the Misha Nitchei v'shelek sutavonata, then he cannot sell her again. So therefore, right, since we're talking about a Kiddushin Rugulim and not Yud, you can't bring me a proof from Yud. What is Yud? Does Yud make Irusin or Nisuin? Right? We don't know. So Tashma, let's try to bring another proof. En mochra lakrovim. You're not allowed to sell her to family members. Because of the name of Rabbi Eliezer, they said mochra lakrovim. You could sell her to family members. V'shavin, and they're both equal. Shemochra almana lekohen gadol. You could sell an almana to a kohen gadol. That means even though these women are prohibited to them with the lo ta'aseh, and since there's no karet, kiddushim are tofsim, and therefore he comes and he says, right, it's a sur for him to be mi'ayedota. So says the Gemara, hay almana hechidami. What is the case of almana? If you're going to tell me right now that he's going to be mekadesh nafsha, almana kanila. So therefore he says, 1 second, why is she called an almana? She's already married. Right? Sorry, she was never mekudeshet, sorry. Right? Which means that the ketana is not considered anything. A ketana is a minor. It's not considered anything. So if it's not considered anything, why in the world are you going to come and you're going to say that she's considered an almana? Ve'ela de kitcha, her father married her off. So mimatzi mizavelna, so can he sell her? You can't sell her as a shivcha after Yishut. Says the name of Yitzchak. Hacha bekiddushay Yehud v'aliba der b'yisrael b'yudad amar ma'ot rishonot lav lekiddushin. The first money was given over not as kiddushin, and therefore when he was mi'aydota, and therefore we do not know if it was actually money of kiddushin. If you're going to tell me now that it makes nisuin, once she gets married, the father has no jurisdiction over her. So for obviously it only makes irusin. Ve'lamai, but rather what? Irusin osai makes irusin. The shavin, but they're equal. Tanakam Rabbi Eliezer shemochra, that he could sell her. Hayana da mochra bitoshot. You can't sell her as a shivcha after Yishut. Elamai lechol. Remember what does it mean to say? Shane irusin didah mirusin davia. It's different, her irusin from the irusin of the father. What does that mean? Irusin of the bat, right? From the irusin of the father getting her engaged, because when she's not doing it to the father, he could still sell her. So also her marriage is different than the father, right? Why? Because the yud, which comes not on through the father, is different from the father getting her married off. Because when he gets her married off, then, right, that means basically then he loses, when he gets her married off, he loses his chut to get her married off. But if he wasn't the one that got her married off, she married off herself, right? Let's say for the nisuin of the yud, so then he still has the power to marry her off. Exactly, that's all. So, hi, my, what's the halacha? I understand that Irusin from Irusin is going to be different. But Nisuin, what about Nisuin to Nisuin? By Mishana, do you say that it's going to be different? So, therefore, that's what we're going to come and we're going to say the two different halachot.